Keeping in mind that trading volumes were thinner yesterday as U.S. markets were closed on account of the Thanksgiving holiday, overall impressions of the activity you've seen on the rand, because we did see some strength managing to make its way through to the local unit by the close of yesterday's session.
Yes, Alishia, yesterday we did see the rand come off some of the lows that we saw previously on Wednesday. Market sentiment did improve very briefly on the back of the rise in German business confidence, and that really improved overall market confidence. We saw the business confidence in Germany increase for the first time in 5 months, and that was shortly after the release of the German GDP data, which increased and accelerated unexpectedly. And that really temporarily alleviated some of the fears that the debt crisis could spread over to the core member countries. We do, however, believe that the Eurozone debt crisis could possibly receive renewed fears as the leaders in those regions are no closer to reaching any common ground. So we do believe that the rand could possibly continue on the weakening bias that we have seen.
Of course, we've got Europe really having stolen much of the attention, and a lot of tug-of-war happening with the kind of headlines that have filtered through from that territory. But also some of the spotlight has been thrown now to the US, because in the US they failed to achieve agreement for a deficit reduction plan. It's what we've been talking about before having crossed to you, Shireen. How are you reading things on that end, and the kind of strength we're seeing nevertheless emerge in the US? Of course, it's a safe haven appeal coming to bear more than anything else.
Oh, of course, safe haven appeal obviously it has been over the past couple of days there. But what is concerning is the fact that there's no resolution there with the debt crisis, with the debt super committee as well. So there is some fears going into next week that we could possibly see the United States also along similar lines. We did see some reprieve, as you mentioned yesterday, because of the Thanksgiving holiday, but that could obviously be counteracted again next week when we do see some data come through again. We have on Monday we have existing home sales data, and that's expected to come in a little bit lower, or moderate slightly from the decline that we saw, but it's still expected to show that the US economy is still in a bit of trouble.
Okay, so let's take a look at your view on the crosses right now. Dollar rand, what are you looking at as we head into next week, Shireen?
Well, as we mentioned at the beginning of the week, we are seeing very yo-yo type of volatile nature coming through. So, and we did see the rand briefly touch 860 yesterday. So we are expecting a very wide trading range of about 840 to about 860 for next week.
What's it going to take for it to go back to around about that 795 rand level? Because we had some market commentary come through yesterday saying that we could well see 795 being hit.
795, I think, is we could actually see it if you consider how quickly the rand actually tumbled and got to the levels that we are seeing at present. We have to obviously see some kind of retracement, but I do believe that we have to see quite a substantial turnaround in the United States and the Eurozone for us to get to those levels again. The rand is very wedded to the sentiment in those regions, and we're not really seeing any resolution come through, and that's obviously going to continue impacting on the weakening trend that we have seen this past week.
Of course, also contributing to the kind of volatility we've seen and that range wideness as well. When it comes to the euro rand, I mean, we've had 1090 on the euro sitting 10 days ago, and it's moved all the way to 1145. So quite a big trading range that we're looking at on that front as well. Your forecasts on that front?
A similar trading range, a wide trading range as we saw in the United States, while the rand-dollar trading range. We do expect further weakening to come through. I haven't really priced in a euro trading range for the day, but we are expecting further weakness for the rand, so it's going to be quite bleak.